welcome back to the AGOV. Today, we're going to be talking about the new lore archetype that more recently got revealed for Age of Overlord. That being the Snake-eyes and the Diabellestarr. They really know how to make simple names, don't they? So, first of all, we're going to be starting off with the level 1 monsters. Snake-eye XL. Again, really simple names here. It's a level 1 pyro effect monster. The Snake-eyes are all pyro monsters except for the dragon. So you can use the, Bonfire, I think that's the name of the rotor, that more recently got revealed in order to, just rotor for any one of these. It's really good. Also, speaking about searching, if this card is normal or special summon, you can add one level 1 fire monster from your deck to your hand. You can use this to search for, either of the other level 1s. You can also use it to search out for Karakuri Divine Incarnate, I think that's the name of the card. Don't know how to pronounce it, I just know it's somewhere along those lines. Which will give you really good access to just random spot removal. Also, they're all level 1, so you can use 1-for-1 to summon them, just thought I should mention that. Then we have the archetypal effect. You can send this card and one other face-up card you control to the graveyard, special summon a Snake-eye monster from your deck or hand, except the card that, it is. Anyway, the next one is Snake-eye Orc. You can only use each effect hard once per turn, and if it's normal or special summon, you to target a level 1 fire monster that is banished or in your graveyard, and either add it to your hand or special summon it. So it's just really good recursion, really good. And it also has the archetypal effect to tribute itself, plus other card, summon another one. Alright, then we have Snake-eye White Birch. If you control a fire monster, you can summon this card from your hand, and during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can send this card in one of control the graveyard in order to summon out any other Snake-eye. This is really unique. It doesn't have an on-summon effect, and also its effect to summon one out is a quick effect. It's pretty cool, actually. Alright, then we have the big guy. We got the boss monster, the archetype. Snake-eye, Flamberge Dragon. Flamberge is the name of a sword. Alright, so this is a sword. That's pretty neat. Not a wooden sword, though. No trees. Alright. All 3 effects are a hard ones per turn, and first effect is you can target one monster in your graveyard or face up on the field, place it face up in the owner's spell and trap card zone as a continuous spell. This is supposed to reference back to the card that was, foreshadowing this new lore archetype, which was the Snake-eye one. That's just a really bad removal spell. So, it's not really much to say about it. And then, effect 2, during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can target one monster card on the field that is treated as a continuous spell, special summon it to your field. In archetype, this doesn't really do a lot. I mean, I guess you can try putting one of your opponent's monsters in the spell trap zone and then just summon it to your field, but that takes a lot of really weird work, and also, if you summon something out trying to think of one off the top of my head, but a card that needs to be fusion or synchro summon, this will reset it, so now it's just counting as a special summon instead of being fusion summoned to the field. So you won't gain the effect for some cards, but other than that, it's alright. And effect 3, if this card is sent from hand or field to the graveyard, you can special summon 2 level 1 fire monsters from your graveyard. Pretty good recursion. You get to summon 2 of these back, then you just get to gain all the advantage, you get to search, you get to summon one out. If you summon out Birch, you can quick effect in order to tag into one of these 2. Pretty good. Alright, then we have the field spell. Only activate one of these bad boys per turn, and effect 1 is, when this card resolves, you can place one Snake-eye monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard face up in its own spell and trap card zone as a continuous spell. So when you combine this with the Snake-eyes Flamberge Dragon, you get some sort of consistency, because you can place one there, but you have to activate it during your opponent's turn, so it's really bad consistency, Second effect is, level 1 monsters you control gain 1100 attack. Oddly specific, and it doesn't really pump them up that much. This one becomes a 119, this one becomes a 2000, and this one becomes a 11. So, yeah, not much to really say about that. Alright, and then the third effect is, once per turn, if your opponent normal special summons a monster, you can target one monster that is currently treated as a continuous spell and special summon it to your field. Sure, it's mid. It's not that good. The first effect to just place one from your deck is a really nice way to get some of them in rotation, and also put a card on field that you can then send using your one of the other guys, say you normal summon out the Exile, and then you place the like birch. You can then search a birch, then you place another birch, then you can then send the Exile plus the birch you have on field in order to summon out Orc can then reborn like one of them, and then you just get like all that advantage. It's alright. Alright, then we have the normal spell. Only activate one of the first and second effects of this card's name per turn. And first effect is send one other face-up card you control to the graveyard. Special summon one level 1 fire monster from your hand or deck. So this archetype also has a built-in 1-for-1, so that's pretty goddamn consistent actually, because you have like what, 1-for-1 this card, 1 fire, and actually no wait, that's it. So you know it's pretty consistent. Oh yeah, also you can banish this card from your graveyard when target one Snake-eyes or Diabellestarr monster from your graveyard, and in your graveyard, add one level 1 fire monster from your deck to your hand, then place the targeted monster on the bottom of the deck. Really good card. It's a Rhoda. Wait, this card's a 1-for-1 and a Rhoda in one. That's really fucking good. So that's really good. Also, it's a bit of recycling, so you get to like put one of your monsters back on the bottom of the deck so you can use it later. It's pretty goddamn good, all things considered. Alright, then we have the normal trap. You can only activate one of these per turn, and if the total levels of all Snake-eyes monsters you control equal 2 or more, activate one of these effects. Target one monster in your opponent's graveyard or face-up field, place it in a face-up continuous spell. Place it in the spell trap zone as a continuous spell, or you can target a monster they control as a continuous spell, and then special summon it to your field. This card is going to be your main way that you put your opponent's monsters into the spell trap zone, so you can special summon them to your field using like another card. But other than that, you don't really have a way to do it, and also alongside that, you don't really have a way to search any of these cards out. Because, you know, what are you going to do? You can only really search out like monsters using this, so you know, you are kind of boned when it does come to actually searching for spell traps. But let's go on to the Overlord archetype. The Diabellestarr. I know how to pronounce things. Alright, first of all, we have who I can only really assume is the new protagonist. Cure Major Diabellestarr. Diabellestarr the Dark Witch, you know, level 7 Dark Spellcaster, 2500 attack, 2000 defense, you know, got that main ace monster stat line. You can only special summon this card with its first effect once per turn, and you can only use the other 2 effects once per turn each. Right. First effect is, you can special summon this card from your hand by sending one other card from your hand or field to the graveyard. It's a good way to just put it top from field. You can send one card you control, it's alright. Good level 7 extender. And then if it's a normal special summon, you can set a Tainted Treasure spell trap directly from your deck. We'll get to the Tainted Treasures in a minute, but that's actually a really good effect. And then free, if this card is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard during your opponent's turn, you can send one card from your hand or field to the graveyard if you do special summon this card back. So that's really good. That's really good for a multitude of reasons, because one, you get to summon it to your field, then immediately set one. Then if it's sent during your opponent's turn, you then just go to summon it back and then immediately set another card that you can use during your next turn, since you can't, you know, use them that turn, because, you know, they're all continuous, have to be set one whole turn before you can use them, but, you know, it's still pretty good, all things considered. Next up we have the Tainted Treasure Hunter Fiend. So I'm guessing there's going to be more treasure hunters that get introduced as, like, lore stuff, but, you know, for now we only have Dark Witch. Effect 1, add a Diabellestarr monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Just generic Rhoda, pretty nice. And effect 2, during your main phase you can banish this card from your graveyard and target one of your Tainted Treasure spell traps that is banished and or in your graveyard. Accept another copy of this card, place it on the bottom of the deck, then draw one card. So it's basically like a Rhoda, no, it's basically just like really good Chaos Space. It's essentially just Chaos Space, but like for this specific archetype, and that's pretty good. Alright, next up we have Tainted Treasure of Doom, Lucalia. Effect 1, target one level 7 or higher spellcaster you control, apply these effects in sequence. Now face a monster is unaffected by other monsters' effects, but send it to the graveyard during the standby phase of the next turn, which is really good because you can activate this and then it'll be sent to the graveyard in order to then proc its effect to summon itself back and then reset another card. And also, all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls lose attack equal to the monster's attack. Then if any of those monsters' attack has been reduced to 0, destroy it. It's alright. It's a really white. It's like a Slifer plus like. It's like a Forbidden Lands plus like a Slifer the Sky Dragon. It's kind of wild. Not in like a good way, just like in a really wacky way. Then we have the Trap of the Archetype. Tainted Treasure of Betrayal, Sylvia. Only use each effect once per turn, and effect 1 is send one Diabellestarr monster from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard when target one face-up card on the field negates its effects. You know, again, this will trigger the Diabellestarr Dark Witch in order to summon itself back and then set another spell trap. It's still pretty good. Number 2 is when your opponent activates a card or effect in response to the activation of your Diabellestarr monster's effect, or Tainted Treasure spell trap or effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard and negate the activation. So it's basically like... So it's like just a negate plus a Omni negate if your opponent tries responding to any one of your cards. It's relatively good. It's kind of nice. I forget, can you... Yes. You can shuffle this card back into deck after it gets banished by using the Tainted Treasure, so it's probably only like a 1 of it. You can search it out pretty damn well with like triple Dark Witch, triple Tainted Treasure, but Hunter Fiend, but you know, other than that, the archetypes seem really promising. I'm really interested to see where Snake-Eye goes, because it seems like an actually good deck. It seems like a really good level 1 spam strategy in the form that like we haven't really seen before, because the most we've gotten is like Lyrilisk, and even then Lyrilisk isn't really going into like generic rank 1 toolbox. They're mainly just making like Recite or Starling as many times as humanly possible, then any like Ensemble, Revolt, and then like the UFD. So you know, make sure to subscribe and dislike the video. Anyway, see ya.